become major focal points once Hurricane Frances makes landfall.
Severe weather expert Dr. Greg Forbes joins us right now with more on that, and we're already beginning to see some of that severe weather, Dr. Greg.
We are, and one of those storms is coming from the northeast toward the southwest, right toward Jeff, toward the north side of Orlando. Let's take a look. That's the outermost, the northernmost rain band here. It's in places that have had a little bit of sunshine today, unlike much of the rest of Florida that's been pretty rainy. So these counties here, Seminole and south central Volusia counties, coming southwestward at about 60 miles per hour toward Deltona, Lake Mary, Sanford, and Longwood. Then we have these other rain bands. They've had damaging winds, especially the closer you get to the center, the worse the winds are. This one probably is weakened, but anywhere now from right around Cocoa Beach and eastward down to Lake Okeechobee and into south parts of Miami, anywhere from to the right of this pink line here could have damaging winds. And we're going to have that next band forming coming into Jupiter, Fort Pierce area. Those could get 80-mile-per-hour winds with structural damage as well. Let's switch sources. The other main threat from this storm is going to be very heavy rain, very slow-moving system, and so it's not out of the question that parts of the central and northern Florida peninsula could get 12 to 18 inches between now and tomorrow midnight. And through Monday night, some of that rain will spread into the panhandle, a couple inches even as far north as Birmingham, and that rain across Alabama is going to continue well on into Tuesday and Wednesday. There may be 6 to 10 inches even as far as Birmingham, Alabama. Christina and Carl?
Dr. Greg, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar picture one more time, and some of those western bands beginning to edge on into the eastern part of Florida. They have been all day, in fact, and we have reports of gusts of 70 to 100 miles an hour. Indian River, St. Lucie, and Martin counties, trees down, severe damage to mobile homes, and roofs off large buildings, including car dealerships and department stores in coastal communities. So obviously a very serious situation already, and it's only going to get worse as we go through the night tonight.
And from heavy rains to strong winds, we're keeping you ahead of the storm.
We continue to monitor the damage already brought on by Hurricane Frances. Boats won't be the only things hit. Stay right there as we continue our special coverage.
It is a big concern as we wait out the storm. But it's going to be a long, wet, windy, and raw day before it's over.
Good morning. Hurricane Frances has made landfall in Florida, and we are in storm alert here on the Weather Channel. I'm Bob Stokes.
And I'm Cheryl Lemke. Thank you so much for joining us. While we watch Frances, we have a new hurricane, Ivan, to talk about. We'll have more details about that coming up in a moment. But first of all, Frances, this Category 2 hurricane, did move onshore near Sewell's Point, Florida, around 1 o'clock this morning. This is how strong the winds were earlier as they were blowing across West Palm Beach yesterday afternoon. Overnight, gusts were as high as 80 miles per hour. Now, West Palm Beach is one of the cities that will continue to see lots of rain and thunderstorms and strong winds throughout the day.
Now, look at how the winds from Hurricane Frances destroyed this restaurant in Fort Pierce. Chuck's Seafood Restaurant has been around for 75 years and was somewhat of a fixture. According to the owners, celebrities used to frequent the eatery. Now, the most powerful winds are just now blowing through the state. The center of circulation is right over the central part of Martin County, by the way.
And this morning, at least 2 million people were left without power. Now, remember, that does not include the people that were left without power because of Hurricane Charlie.
And here are some of the latest facts. Let's check them out. The force of Hurricane Frances has done damage all over the eastern coast of Florida. Trees have been knocked down and power lines are being pummeled. As of early Sunday morning, nearly 1.5 million people are without power along the east coast. The most in Palm Beach County, where nearly 500,000 people are in the dark. Vero Beach may have been hit the hardest. Nearly all of the city is without power this morning.
And let's take a look at the latest radar picture. Again, we see the eye wall right there, just north of West Palm Beach. Now, currently, this hurricane is packing winds still of 100 miles per hour. We're seeing some very gusty winds with that eye wall again coming on shore around West Palm Beach. We've had some gusts already this morning in excess of 80 miles per hour. Still wind-driven rains, very squally conditions too northward along the coast around Melbourne and Vero Beach. You are getting pummeled by the wind and the rain. Here's the latest on Hurricane Frances. Again, the winds are down somewhat, now down to 100-mile-per-hour winds. It is still very slowly working its way across the state, moving to the west-northwest at about 8 miles per hour. So on that course, it will take pretty much the whole day before it finally progresses across the state of Florida.
Now, Cheryl, let's take a look at that projected path, and it looks like a flooding one across much of central Florida, more heavy rainfall, and you can see We see Frances going into the northeastern part of the Gulf of Mexico as we slide toward the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, and then hitting the central Gulf Coast, impacting Alabama and eastern Mississippi with heavy rainfall. It takes a turn towards, say, the north because of a frontal boundary over the Midwest that will be moving eastward.